Well, hello and good evening, all you art nerds. Just in time to go out of focus. There's something wrong with my camera. I think I'm going to sell this thing. Anyways, yeah, I hadn't intended to go live tonight, but here I am. Actually, that's not true. I did, then I didn't. Now I am again. Originally, I was going to do an art block with Enrique for Tuesday night, and he was going to be there, and then he couldn't. So I had tried to set something up with a couple of other people to see if I could get some other art guests on, and it didn't kind of work out. So I hadn't really, it didn't really kind of, nothing was really coming together. And I'm still trying to set up a second camera over my desk. It's still having some technical problems. So I kind of wasn't going to until I got a random email from YouTube. And it said something to the effect, do I still have it up? No, I don't think. Oh, yeah. I guess it says we're limiting. What does it say? Has anyone ever gotten any of these? We're limiting your, or we're removing your advanced features. You've lost your advanced features due to I don't have sufficient channel history and something about guidelines, community guidelines. I don't think I've done. I don't. Let me back up. It has nothing to do with anything that I've done wrong on the channel. I haven't said or done something that was against any big guidelines as far as the videos. I think it was just that I hadn't been active enough for a while. So that being said, I think it was kind of a kick in the rear that I need to actually start doing a little more on this channel, posting more often, doing more lives, and start making it a regular thing and not being lazy and just not doing something because I don't have anything ready and I haven't planned ahead, and I need to get my act together and get something going on here. But anyways, they wanted some updated ID. So I don't draw. I don't have a license, but I guess they accept your passport. So you can go in, scan it, and it would say, okay, well, it's going to take about 24 hours or so before we can fix everything. And then, like, not 2 minutes later, it says, oh, we fixed it. You have all your advanced capabilities and you're good to go. So my advanced features, sorry. So I guess everything's still the same. But they said this is good for, I think, what did it say, 6 months to a year? See if I can find it. Advanced YouTube. To keep using these features, you need to follow our community guidelines, have a positive channel history. You can delete your ID anytime. But if you delete your ID, you can't use the advanced features. So you got to have all your personal information up there, I guess. But anyways, I don't care anymore at this point in my life. How long do they keep your ID is deleted within a few months. But as long as within that few months you've built a solid channel history, you can keep everything. So that being said, I need to start making this a more regular thing, and I've wanted to for a while. I think the problem is just having something prepared and something ready that I can put up. And I do have some ideas for some video ideas that I want to that I'd actually like to start producing. Some of them they take a little bit of work. You realize actually when you started doing this that it's like making YouTube videos, whether they're just talking head videos or planning like art videos. To actually make a posted video, to edit it kind of together properly, takes a lot of work. Whereas doing live, you don't do it. Well, even live, you just need a lot of prep for that. So even this kind of takes some work to get things together. Looks like I've actually got 3 viewers. I know Jim's here. Hi, Jim. How you doing? I'm glad I could provide some audio background for you. And talk about my cartoon thumbnail. Time to update. I know the hair's gone gray. That's only about 6 years old, that one, and somehow in 6 years, I mean, it was just, I keep going out of focus. Oh, this is not good. Somehow in 6 years, my hair went white. It was just starting to just a few years ago, but man, it just all of a sudden something clicks after you turn 50. It's like, oh, time to go white, and there it went. So yeah, I'll make a new one. I'll make I'll make one that's no goatee. I still have a goatee though. Yeah, one day I'll put something together. I had made one and I didn't like it, and I disposed of it. The goatee kind of comes and goes sometimes, but weird story behind this, because I used to have a full beard. I miss my full black beard that I used to have. But do I look thinner? I thought my image, my cartoon thumbnail was I don't use that on this channel anymore, not on YouTube anymore, but I know on my Instagrams it is, and I think on the TikToks. But I think this is just with age. You start going gaunt, the skin just starts to fall. So yeah, I guess I should probably more wrinkles under the eyes and whatnot. So I'll make something that makes me look old and frightening. But yeah, I'll work on that again eventually at some point. I'm kind of not sure. I got to work on kind of the whole branding of this whole thing that I've tried to put together for my channel and for what I'm doing, and try and kind of get my shit together in a nutshell. But yeah, I had what have I got up here? This is, how's everyone's summer going? I know I've only got 2 people watching. I don't know who our mystery watcher is, but welcome, whoever you are. Let's see here. Clip Studio Paint. I'm having an awful summer. Awful in the pay that in the way that the weather has been bad. I normally like to go out for walks, but when it gets really, really humid, I do not handle that well at all. It might as well be a tornado outside or a blizzard or something, because when it gets to that point, I'm not going out in it, because I can load myself up with water, coat myself with sunscreen, and it won't do anything. And I just, as soon as that hits me, and it's been bright blasting sunlight, and just it'll say like 28, 29, 30 degrees. I'd have to do that in Fahrenheit, I'm not sure Celsius, but feels like 40, and it's gross. But thanks, Jim. Hi, Terry. How are you? Oh, welcome. It's nice to see you. Yeah, this is just a random chit chat. I'll probably maybe bring up Clip Studio here or something else. One of the programs that I've got here. Maybe I'll do the other one. Yeah, I heard that right across UK is in a heat wave, America is in it, we're in it. It's just like all over the place. Yeah, I am the first one to complain when it's too hot and when it's too cold. I am one of those people, but and even though I'm Canadian, when we get to like -20 and the cold starts burning your face, that's just not fun. I don't mind throwing on coats and the snowshoes, and I can go out and shovel a driveway if I need to. But boy, when it's windy and it's late at night and it's windy, I'm trying to come home from work and there's piles of snow, and it's just at that point starts burning your face. It's not fun. That is not fun at all. Oops, let me just close that. Let's see what I can open up here. I was going to open Clip Studio, but I don't want to. Clip Studio is acting funny on this tablet. I'm having issues with my tablet. I also am a mosquito magnet. I don't know about you guys, but mosquitoes, they friggin' love me, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about my blood type, but I will go out there and they will just swarm me. I will be out with a bunch of friends, and they will all be fine, and we don't have any mosquitoes. No, it's because they're all over me. I don't know what it is. The only thing that I can kind of get rid of them is if there's a lot of smoke, if somebody's smoking, which is kind of gross, but if somebody is, that's maybe the only thing that'll deter them. But otherwise, there is something about me that just, as soon as I start seeing a couple of them come around and I feel a couple of bites, I'm done. I got to get out of there, because I will be a smorgasbord within a few minutes, this human walking smorgasbord. And it doesn't matter what I do, what I coat myself with. Get some bug spray. It doesn't matter. They will dive bomb. They will hold their breath and dive bomb into me, screaming, "I regret nothing." I don't know what it is. It's like what's it called? McDonald's McRib. It only comes around once in a while. But man, people will will do anything they can to. Whoops, this is not coming up right. What's going on? I'm trying to open up. Okay, Affinity Designer. I'm opening up Affinity, and I don't know. It's brought up some sort of, was there an update? I don't know. So, anyways, yeah, it's. I am like the human McRib to mosquitoes. How I got to that analogy, I don't know. They friggin' love me, and it drives me. I can't stand it. I tried to go for a walk one night, and it's night, and anytime I got near a light, and they would swarm around the light, and then they'd leave the light and come follow me. And it eventually got to the point, it's just like I went home because I couldn't stand it anymore. Everybody's out. Everybody seems to be fine. People out with their pets and their dogs and walking and having a nice time. And meanwhile, I'm just like this all the way home. So I gave up. So yeah, between the humidity and mosquitoes, I'm useless in the summer. But when it starts cooling down a little bit, once it gets down to around where the humidity is down under 30, it improves a little bit, but right now it's just awful. Anyways, let me see what I can bring up here. I'm going to open up Affinity Designer too, because I'm still learning it. It's quite a learning curve. I dropped Adobe a long time ago because I have lots of art programs. I don't need Adobe. The only one I have is Adobe Fresco for the iPad. And that's the only one I have because it's a nice complement to have with Procreate. And Fresco is actually a good little program. I don't mind that. But I refuse to give money to Adobe. And I dropped Adobe ages ago, and I picked up Affinity Designer and picked up both Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer because they both work together very well. They are a bit of a learning curve, though. And I figured since I have that, I have Clip Studio, which does pretty near everything. And then I have another one called Pixelmator. Pixelmator, which is bought by Apple. Pixelmator and Photomator, which are two programs, and they were bought together by Apple. But between those, I'm kind of covered by everything, right? And I even have another one called Sketchbook Pro, which is fun because it's a very simple interface that I can open and do some quick sketches with. And I've used it on here a few times. I just wanted to kind of open up something a little bit different. Let's see if I can get it going here. I'm going to be just a moment here while I just see if I can get something set up ready to go. I was going to mention something a few minutes ago. I have something coming up as well. I'm going to get the trusty iPad. And I'll see what I've got here. I do have some ideas actually that I want to do for some YouTube videos in the coming future, actual pre-recorded videos, and I got to start making that a regular habit, as I talked about earlier. Let's see, where are my notes? Where is it here? I wrote some things down. I have my Walmart grocery list. It's not what I need. Not there. Isn't that silly? That's all I need is blank space for people to get bored while I try to find something that I cannot find. I was jotting down. Here, I have a separate one for YouTube. No, that's just the story drawings. I am going to try doing... there used to be a thing that went around for a while on YouTube. Oh, I lost people. Oh, well. That serves me right. Remember years ago there was Draw Your Life, and people were doing that on social media. They were doing it on YouTube. And I think around the time TikTok was just starting, and so people were doing it on TikTok. And I thought I would do it on... do a little video for that. I've been kicking around for years, and just because there's so many funny little stories from growing up, and I thought they'd be cute to make these little stories that I could tell of things that happened, and I could draw them out. Have you ever seen those like quick, what would you call it, like the quick drawings that would kind of, you'd see it sketch really fast during a part of the story. There'd only be about 5 drawings during the whole thing, but you'd see it sketch out really quickly. And I thought that'd actually be kind of fun to actually sort of do a pre-drawing, and then I could kind of trace them out and record it, and then you could be on high speed, and then I just do an overlay. So there's one idea actually there that I want to do for that. What did I do with I have the wrong notes. I do have, I'm looking on here, but I do have it all in GoodNotes. GoodNotes is, if you're looking for a good program for note keeping, GoodNotes is a good one. Even though I have notes for I have Apple Notes, which is actually really good in itself. Apple Notes is good, but I liked how GoodNotes laid out. You could lay out what would you call it? Remember the old notebooks we used to have when we used to fill them out by hand? They have something like that would open up like on your iPad, and you could turn it and you would have it spread open like those old address books, or not address books, but calendars and those kind of things. And you open them up, and they have things like that for GoodNotes. I really like them. But give me just a moment here. I lost internets this afternoon, so hopefully that stays up. Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing I was thinking about doing. I've been looking at a lot of art history. Oh, hey, Paul, how you doing? Wow, I've got getting everybody coming in here. It's nice to see you in. Nice to have you on, Paul. Yeah, I was going to do this little thing like the top 10 most famous paintings, and I know it's a very subjective thing, but the ones that, not in any particular order, but the ones that people are most familiar with. And I thought I would do a video kind of listing the 10 and talking a little about each of them. So that's one of them that I am going to actually start working on. There's one for doing caricatures. I was talking about my history of taking animation at school and kind of where it went wrong after I graduated. But another thing too, I'm going to do a little review for those of you that like comics. Let's see what I got here. I wanted to do something because a friend of mine showed me something he picked up, and it sort of unlocked a memory, which is this thing. It's an old King Kong comic book from the 60s. Now, interesting thing about this is the friend of mine's just loaned me this one. I used to have this. However, the one I had was not Gold Key. It was something else. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It starts with a W. And it was the double-sized one. It was big, and it had a more of a cardboard cover. It had a thicker, heavier cover. I don't remember in the 70s they had the big double-sized comics, and I had 3 or 4 of them like that. I had the big King Kong one. I had the Star Wars Part 1. Never got the Part 2, but I had the Star Wars Part 1. And I think, what was the other sci-fi Disney one with the big round, the black hole? That was it. So anyways, this was kind of amusing. I don't know if I can open and show you much. It's kind of hard to do that, and it's in rough shape. But the artwork in this is actually kind of amusing. It's actually very well done. The coloring is odd choice of coloring. The cover, oh, I forgot his name. Damn it. The cover is done by a famous comic book artist who used to paint all the covers, and he used to do, oh God, I can't think of his name. I can't even think of the stuff he did, but he used to do like strange stories, weird stories, sort of like Twilight Zone, I think was another one of the comics. And they had the painted covers. It was one of the bellhop falling off the building. He did that one. Yeah, I wanted to, the cover on this is really, really nice. And this one is authorized by Marion C. Cooper, the creator of the original 33 King Kong. But it's interesting that you could tell that they had no reference for gorillas when they made this. Kong in this book, they didn't even base the drawings off of the 1933 model. They used, you could tell they quite obviously used a chimpanzee. It's too skinny, the limbs are too long, and they just sort of tried to, I think, thicken it out a bit. But you could tell that was probably the only reference they had was chimpanzees in there, because it does not look like a gorilla, and it does not look like the 1933 movie Kong, which I thought was very odd. But so I will, oh hell, let's see if I can try and open it. Do you want me to try and open it? Do you want to see it? Do you want to have a look? Let's see if I can do it. The back is the same as the front, and it says pin up. So apparently supposed to cut off the back cover and then be able to put up as like a little poster on your wall. So it's the same as kind of the same as the front. But yeah, see if this picks up. You can kind of see it's not really a gorilla. They've tried to make it. You apparently must have known a little bit about what a gorilla looks like. And some of them are actually even based off of like famous posters. Like this image here, he's redrawn what was one of the movie promotional images for the 33 King Kong, and he's sort of redrawn it, but in that particular style. So this came out in 1968, I believe it did, 68, 69, in this format, in the smaller format like this. Then the big one that I had was the giant one was re-released in 76 or 77, because it was probably 76. I got it for like Christmas of 77, but I think it came out in 76 because it came out with the Dino De Laurentiis remake with Jessica Lange. They wanted his sort of, King Kong stuff was kind of coming out for the kids. It kind of really wasn't a kids movie, but there was a lot of like King Kong stuff they were putting out for kids. I can't get this back in. Give me just a moment because I don't want the tape to stick on the cover. So there we go. I'm trying to be gentle with it since this is about the same age as me. So there it is, King Kong, and I'll do like a full video review of that and talk about it. Just something to make. But so how's everyone else doing? Paul, Terry, Jim, how you guys? Paul, you were working on something. You said it was going to be some background sound. Can I ask what you're working on tonight? Have you been experimenting at all more with what you were working on? I don't want to say too much, but I know you had between you and Adam and Paul, and you guys were chatting, and you were trying out some things. So I didn't know if that was. Oh, I can actually see it. I forgot to put this up. There was something else I was actually going to mention, and I don't remember what it was. See, I know there's a bit of a delay on here. I say something, you guys will probably hear it about 30 seconds after I've said it. If somebody responds, I'll see it about 30 seconds after it comes through. So there's like a big delay. But let me see if I can bring back up some of my notes for things that I'm working on later. Notes and lists, good notes. Let's see if we can bring it up again. So I talked about that. The famous paintings, which I'm working on. XP Pen. My issues with XP Pen. I have a lot of issues with XP Pen, and I plan to make a video about that because I'm still mad at them. Never buy an XP Pen. If you're looking for a tablet, go Wacom, go Huion, go Gammon. But do not go XP Pen. I will not recommend them at all. Anyone else? I'm so mad at them. Refuse to give them 1 more cent of my money ever again. I didn't want to talk about one of. I've always liked Van Gogh, and when I do my video on the top 10 most famous paintings, one of them that's going to be up there is Starry Night, because that is one of his most famous paintings. I do really like that painting, but it's probably not my absolute favorite though of his. And my personal favorite of his is Cafe at Night. There's a longer title to that, and I forget what it is. And I just posted it on Instagram. If you've seen my Instagrams lately on my stories, I just posted it up there. It might still be there. I'm not sure. But Cafe at Night has always there's something about me that's just sort of like my happy place. It's like this lovely little night out in France, and it's the 1800s, right? So it's I don't know how if what cafes were like at night at that time, but you'll see there's some people sitting at the table. There's a couple out on the street dancing, and there's a waiter taking somebody's order. And there's all these empty tables, and it's his stuff was always very loose. Like there wasn't a lot of detail. It was very, very simple, but it was his use of color that knew how to use color to draw you in and perspective, and he knew all that to bring you in. He didn't need like super tight, tiny detail. Didn't have to. Photography was becoming a thing, but his was use. It was an interpretation of what he was looking at, the feel of it, the warmth, and the dark blues with this nice warm orangey yellow of this cafe. It makes me want to just step into the painting and just sit down at this cafe and have a coffee and listen to the music and listen to the people and watch the people and look at the stars. And there's just something very, very, that's always been very inviting about that painting. And one day I will get a print of that and put on my wall. I was going to get one in my last place until I knew I was going to move, and I thought I'm not going to get it yet. Now that I'm here, I'm trying not to hang anything on walls right now in this place. So when I move again and I have my final forever home, if I ever get it, then I'm going to get one and put it up on the wall for sure. But that'll be like a nice big image of that. So that is, I think I covered everything. The story of my animation background, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, that's going to be kind of more of a personal, that one, when I do that. I can close that. Close. Yeah. Pursue what interests you while you can. Do it now. And make it happen. And don't listen to anybody else. That's the takeaway. Oh, let me see if I can bring this up. Now my XP pen, this is why I'm mad at them, keeps blinking out. So every time it does, I have to kind of keep re-adding it. And it does it every couple of minutes. So let me see if I can do this. Share. I don't know if I want to do the screen or the window. Try just the window. All right. I never particularly like this arrangement. Let's see if I can change it. That's better. I am indeed on a Mac, Jim. I've been using Macs my whole life. The first time when I was living with a friend of mine back in I went to it was 96 when I had to find a place to live, and this friend invited me in. 99, we were talking about computers being a new thing, and this internet was becoming the big new thing. And I said, we should get it for email. I says, I'll split with you on a computer if we can do this. So he agreed, and I says, I have friends that are all big computer nerds, and they can help put it. We got a Windows-based one, and I had like Windows 95, I think, at the time, and if you can believe that. And it's this big clunky thing, but I loved it. I became addicted right away. I was on the thing all the bloody time. Started meeting people on there and making new friends and chatting with people. It was like, and it was so weird that even in chats, I was like beginning to getting together with friends. We were talking through this thing, and it was weird to arrange a meeting with somebody and without picking up the phone anymore. I thought, oh, the future is here. So, but we were having some problems with it, and we were always kind of trying to divide the time up. Either he was on it or I was on it. It was fine. But when I went to visit a friend of mine in Montreal who had a Mac, and I was like, wow, I love the interface of it. And I thought, I have to save up and get one. So I was working full time at the time, and I saved up and I bought one of those bubble iMacs. It was the lime green one, those bubble shaped ones. I loved that thing. I got that, and I never looked back. I just kind of became hooked on Macs at that point, and then I just became a big Mac nerd for my whole life. So that was probably more information than you needed to know, but so yeah, that was. So this is Affinity Designer 2, as they call it now. This is still a bit of a learning curve, and I've talked about this before. There's a few things that I need to that I'm still getting used to on this thing. One of the things, let's see if I can do this. one of the things was when you need to outline or stroke a selection. I don't like the way it does this, as it has a weird way of doing it. And so, I mean, if you have a selection, you get your little marching ants. Let me see if I can find it. I don't even know where I can get it. See if I can find it. I don't. I've been using so many other programs that haven't come back to this because it was such an odd thing. I never use it on this. I never use this on this program. But when I bring it up, when I find it, you'll see why. It makes like a double line, and you fill it in, which was kind of so. But you have to look at it really close and make sure it's the thickness that you want, as opposed to just seeing a single line. On every other program, it just makes like you get your single selection line, your dotted ants, and then you can adjust the thickness of that line on top of it or outside of it. But this, it changes you get a double set of dotted lines of your marching ant lines. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know why I shouldn't have done this right now, but I'm doing it anyways. It's under effects. No, you do have your effects here, your inner glow, outer glow, your Gaussian blur, drop shadows, outer shadow, 3D outline. Oh, I don't think it'll do it for this, though. No, it's not going to do it for that. There's bevel and emboss, okay. But this, I think you actually have to have an object first. It can't be just an empty space like this. Actually, let me see here. Let me go into layers. Oh, it is on layers. Well, maybe because I don't have anything. Let's try this. That's a pixel layer. Let's see if it'll do it. Oh, look at that. You're making a liar out of me. Let's bring it right up to 1. Let's see if it'll do it. Blend mode normal. Did it do it? No, it's not doing it. See, I don't know. Or do you set that first? Or maybe it's because that's the wrong kind of layer. Let's try this again. FX. Okay, well, I'm not sure why. I think you do have to have an object, so it's not doing it for any of these layers. Okay. All right, so, oh, shit, I just closed the whole program by mistake. I'll bring it back up. Let me see. Jim Luhan asks, let's see here. If you could be sent to any city for 2 weeks only, solely to work on an art project, which would you pick? Oh, Jim, you would have to ask me that. Hold on, let me bring this back up. I will tell you, I have been dying to go back to England since I went last year. I don't know which city. I know I was in London last year, and it is nice, but I don't know if I'd particularly go to London again next time. But on the coast, like Dover and that area, and I've got family out that way and some friends. I'd probably pick something out there. I could see friends, and it's a lovely place it's beautiful along there. I could sit and work on stuff just peacefully. But yeah, you would have to bring me back. I'd probably just stay there. But yeah, that'd probably be it. I mean, there's places in Europe too. Like, I would love to go up to Amsterdam, and oh God, so Copenhagen, places like that. I would love to go up there and visit. But oh, Holland as well. Yeah. Holland is another one I wouldn't argue with that either. I think anywhere in Europe like that is beautiful. I would definitely go. One of them that's somewhere a little lower on the bucket list is Japan, but that's I don't know if that would be to work on an art project. It's too busy, and I'd have to go with somebody to help me with the language barrier and that. But that's another place I do that is kind of on the bucket list. Yeah, actually, something else I've been kind of this now added to the bucket list lately that I've been kind of almost gotten a little addicted to watching. There's a little bit of still some fuss about this, a little bit of controversy over it. I started watching these videos on people who take these trips to see the gorillas out in the wild, because they are rather passive creatures, and they take groups of people out there to see them. And if you look that up, look anything like that up on social media, there's people they'll walk right past you, they'll walk up to you, they'll kind of look around. They're not very aggressive. Even at their most aggressive, no one's ever been hurt. They might the one might get a little annoyed that you're in the area or something, but usually they're even the mothers with their babies. The babies will come over and climb on you, and then the mothers will come over and sit next to you. It's very it's but I was fascinated by watching these. I thought, oh, I'd love to go out. And there's some in Africa and some in South America. I'd have to find places that do that, but they're long treks. You got to be ready for it. And there's mosquitoes. We've talked about mosquitoes earlier. That would be kind of the one thing I'd have difficulty with. But boy, that's something else. I'd love to go up there with like a sketchbook and sit and draw them. But yeah, so that's kind of a long answer to the question. But let's see. I've opened this up again. I want to look up something really quick. Vinny may have changed that. See, outline a selection. Can't believe I've forgotten how to do this already. Select tool and pick outline. All right, that's what I thought I did. So what about for you guys then? What's your selection? What about for your places in the world that you would go to? Color range, total feather, smooth. Oh, outlines right at the very bottom. There it is. Here, let me just bring this up really quick. I do recommend this program. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that make it awkward to use. It's the only thing that makes it awkward to use. Holland or Portugal, yeah. One of my very, very good friends, Armando, he's Portuguese, and he's been several times. Last time I talked to him, though, he said the last time that he went would be the last time you go. He says he just he's kind of seen everything he needs to do and just felt he hadn't gone. I was like, really? He's just... So here we go. I've got outline selected, but you can see how it makes the double line when I slide this and the width changes. Oh, you can change the radius down here. But if you want to make like a comic book line, just like an outline for comic book panel. And then you can either take your pen, now go into brushes, and you can fill it in there like that. Or I think you can use a bucket, and just if it's wide enough, you can fill it straight in. Whoops. Like that. But that's a bit thin. See if I can get it again. France countryside. Very good friend of mine. Well, a friend of mine that's actually in Dover. He his family takes trips out to the countryside. They had a really nice trip out there. Something I want to find out. But that is, whoops, that is, yeah, that would be lovely to see. I want to take the underground that goes from the UK to UK to France. I think that would be something to see. That'd be a fun trip to take that. All right, select. Let's go to outline. Apply. Now, will this do it? Oh, did the whole thing. Okay. So it's a long way about it. It's not as clean as it is in the channel. Yeah, it is. That's it. That's the one. You can get there by the tube. Anyways, this is it. This is how you can make some comic book panels. Everybody get that? Not that it matters. Oh my goodness, a month and a week in Paris. Oh. I am jealous. That would be so fantastic. I want to get my ancestry visa and then just go and live in UK for like, I don't know. I'd live there for like a couple of years if I could, and just be part of it. I know I don't know, it's kind of in my blood a little bit, I think, because my grandparents came over when they were young. My dad was stationed over there for a while. My mom really wanted to. She learned all the history, but she had such a fear of flying. She was so petrified of flying. I remember she took me out to British Columbia, and the flight went fine. She took me there in like 79 when I was very young. I was 10 or 11. It was a wonderful trip. But she said she'd only been on a plane 2, maybe 3 times in her whole life. And that last time she got on it was, to her, you never know it. She held things a lot inside, my mom. She never let much show. And I didn't think there was anything wrong. But after that, she said she would never fly again. Her brother offered to take her to Scotland numerous times. He's going to pay for her trip and take her. And I kept saying, Mom, go. And she was terrified. She wouldn't do it. And I think there's a little part of her that regretted it, that didn't go. See, because if she was still, she'd be like 85 now, but I'd have tried to take her if I could. But yeah, so there's a part of me that has like a very deep connection to the UK, and I definitely would go and live there for a while. In a perfect world, if I could afford it, I would have a home out there and a home over here, and you just go back and forth for half the year. Go out there for half the year and come back here. That would be my thing. Anyways, I'm going to show you something on this that is a problem I have with this program, because as much as I really like Affinity, Affinity has, Photoshop, you got Photoshop and you have another program, Illustrator, right? The 2 separate things. Now, Affinity breaks things up a little differently. It has its own Photoshop Photoshop version called Affinity Photo. This is Affinity Designer. But Affinity Photo, or Affinity Designer, well, Affinity Photo is just for photography. You can do some of the same things you're doing in here. You can do some drawing in that in it. But this is specifically for the artist. And it has these, what they call personas that you draw on. So right now we're in Designer persona, which is very much like Illustrator. So this is where, and I never really got used to this, but it's where you work with arcs like this, and you can bend. And I never really did fully adapt to that. One day I'll play with it more and learn how to use it, but it's never been my thing. And you can, by the way, you can flip back and forth in this program. So if you want more of the drawing, like this is vector in here, right? So if you want more of the drawing experience of Photoshop, you go up to here, and the second one here is pixel persona, right? And this, as you can see here, over here you've got your layers, and then you can switch to your brushes here, and then your different styles. There's different things under here. There's your effects again, by the way. Your effects can also be in the bottom. So, but just for layers and brushes, I think you can actually drag them out. If you need to, you can drag it out if you want, but I just leave them here because it makes the area less cluttered. It's fine. I don't mind clicking back and forth. But there's your brushes, and I've added, you get certain brushes and pens and pencils and that in there, and they're easy to add more. And you can see here when you click on it, oh, it doesn't show up on here. Oh, that sucks. See, when I click on that, there's like an overlay, but it's not showing up on that. That stinks. You know what? I'll bet you I know how to bring that up. Let me close this out. That's annoying. That's annoying. Let's get out of here. Give me one moment. Doo-doo-doo. I don't like it when it does that. Let's go back to screen. This time we're doing the entire screen. Let's see if this works. Now you can kind of see the outside of this. Might be able to just do that. Okay, that's fine. Now let's see if it'll do it. Click on inks. There we go. That's better. This is what was not showing up. Now it's really, really small, and I know you can't see it. But here's all your different, these are all the things that I've imported in here. So you get like your normal inks, oils, pencils, pens, all of that. Then there's the additional ones I've got, like the Aaron Blaze collection. I've got his sets of brushes, sketching brush. I've got something called Dreamography. I've got True Grit on here. They're half-tone brushes, which is good if you want to do like some cartooning and you want like the tones for coloring. Inks, markers. Then I've added, even so, let's say if I add onto inks, I can add additional inks into these little subfolders, right? True Grit brushes, right? Oops. Select a brush. So yeah. Now this is where I have a little problem with this, and I'll show you its coloring. And you can easily work around this. This is it's not a complete deal breaker, but it is annoying because most other programs, what you do, you have your ink layer, and I've done this before. So let me go over to pens. Sorry, let me go into inks, and I'm going to show you. I'll explain this while I'm doing it. So there's a Comic G pen, and I'm just going to do like a circle here, right? We'll just do just a big fat circle so that this is clear on a small screen. Okay, and then we go into layers. And I'm going to add, you've got two options, add a layer and add a pixel layer, and I'm going to add a pixel layer to this. The layers automatically go over top. You select your paintbrush. Now, what you normally do in most programs is it colors underneath. And for some silly reason, they wanted to be different and have the color go over top as opposed to underneath. And I never did like that. You can switch your layers around. But there is a better workaround than this. But let me just show you really quick. Now, it says here like your source, and this never quite works right. So I got the bucket out. Let me just pick a red so this is clear. Your layers, your source here for this pixel layer. And again, it's over top of my ink drawing. We've got layers beneath. So there's a current layer. So if I pick that and I tap on it, it just covers the whole thing because it's on top, right? Now, if I put this underneath this layer, if I tap on that, again, it's just fills in the whole thing. But let's say if I select this, well, now you're just going to fill in the circle on that on the single layer. And you don't want that. You want your color on a different layer. Always, always, always. Put your color on a different layer. So let me just hit Command Z, please, and thank you. All right. So now it's the current layer and below. Let me put this back up here again. We'll select that, current layer and below. If I click on that, now you see it's colored it in, but it's on the layer above it. And so if you want, you can move it underneath. Right now it's underneath, but you have to do that. It doesn't do referencing. So if I put that, now I've backed up here, let's go back again. Let's say I put that pixel layer underneath. This is going to be the color level, and I've picked current layer and below. It still just fills it in. And then the final one here is layers beneath. Again, it just does the same thing. It's not, if I put it up top, it does the same thing. I know layers beneath and current layer and below, I haven't been able to figure this out. I don't know what's going on with this. The easiest thing I do is, if you want, is to do this, fill it in, and then move it underneath right after. You can do that. The other option, if you want, is put your color layer underneath. Make sure you've got the ink, your ink line selected on the top, right? Get your magic wand tool and select it. You can see the marching ants on the inside. Now select your lower layer. The marching ants are still there. It's been selected, and that's selected for all layers. Get my bucket, and now it fills it in underneath. It's inside the marching ants. The only thing is, as soon as I deselect that line, what you can't tell on here is there's a little bit of a gap between the color and the ink line. Even though the color's on a different level, and I'll show you by zooming in, you can see it doesn't get it all. It leaves this. So what I have to do, and it does that if you put it on the top as well. If you end up filling it on the top, move to the bottom, you still get the same problem. So what you have to do is grab your paintbrush. Whoops. And grab the color and just fill it in like that, right? And I'll go all around. If you have like a long, complicated character, this can take a while, and it's a pain. And if you're outlining this in order to remove the line later, maybe you want like a shape without a line, well, in that case, then I wouldn't be doing this step. What I did before would be fine, because as soon as you remove this, you can see how I filled that in, right? So you want that left on there. But that still works. It's just in Clip Studio and Photoshop, you have your ink line as your reference. Even in Procreate, that's your reference layer. And then you just add a layer underneath and you fill it in, and away you go. Pixelmator does all this, but Affinity Designer wanted to be different, and they did it this way. I'm not big on it, but I do like everything else Affinity Designer has going for it, so I kind of live with it. Yeah, that's kind of it. Anybody have any questions? I'm going to be getting rid of Talk Studio. I have it until, I still have it for a while. I still have it until March. I'm not happy with this thing, though. I have sung its praises. I have sung this thing's praises, and it let me down. I'm so disappointed. Streamlabs has got to get back to me. For my intros, you used to be able to upload an intro, a video intro, and it gives all this, like it gives, okay, make sure it's this size or this long and all that, which is fine. It has to be this format. It was an MP4, which it is. I had everything set, and I've done it before. I did it numerous times. I've got some uploaded in there. So I go to add new ones. I made new intros and new commercial breaks, which I'm going to run one in a minute. And all of a sudden now it says server can't be reached and refuses it, rejects it. So maybe I've got uploaded too many. So I deleted a few out of there and then tried to add a new one. Won't take it. Everything is set properly. All the sizes are set properly. Everything is exactly as it should be. It's just the server can't be reached. So I have messaged them, and I am going to try again. But if by next February I'm still having issues with this, then I'm dropping it, which is unfortunate because it's the most affordable of these things like this. But I will go back to using just Streamlabs itself, just the Streamlabs program itself, which is too bad because I like Talk Studio. This is just faster and easier to set up, especially when you have guests. This is really great for guests, and I wanted to keep it for that. Who knows? Maybe if I keep Ultra later, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not happy with them, and I'm going to pester them until I get a proper answer, until they fix it. So Streamlabs, get your shit together. I need a drink because I'm losing my voice. As you can hear me constantly clearing my throat. I've been sick all last week. I was really sick for like almost the entire week, and I'm still kind of getting over that. But I am going to put on just a short commercial break, and I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to get a drink and just sort of freshen up a little bit, and I will be back in just a couple of minutes. All right. Anyway, stick around. Don't go nowheres. We're going to do more. See you in a minute.
There's too much water in that kettle. And now the lid's on crooked. And that means disaster for this lady. Because she is on a boat. Don't boil a kettle on a boat.
Oh, that was a short one. All right. Told you it wouldn't be long. I should have picked a longer one, though, but I have one that's about a minute and a half. That one's actually really, really short. What else? I wanted to ask you folks a question out there in question land. I meant to mention this earlier, and I forgot about it. It slipped my mind, but now is also a good time to bring it up. One of the videos that I'm going to do, I was talking about earlier, is that I want to do sort of a little top 10 most famous paintings in history and art history. And so when I started kind of looking up, I made a list. I knew the ones that I wanted to get. I started looking a few up as well to see which ones are kind of particular in the public eye. These aren't personal favorites. These are what would be kind of considered the most famous in history. So I started going through, and I thought I'm going to make this video and maybe some photos. But you can't just take an image off of the Googles and then use it. A lot of them are copyrighted images, and YouTube has actually dinged some people for that. It's like music. You can't just grab any old thing of music and throw it on there, because if anything's copyrighted, they will nail you for it. So I was going through some pictures, and I remember that, oh yeah, I've seen a couple of people saying that they got what they thought were like safe photos that were that had no copyright issues, and then they end up getting dinged on it. So I thought, I need to find a good source. And I've been having a little difficulty with it. I think I have, because most of these images, it's not so much the image. The images themselves are fine, but if the photograph of the image has been taken by somebody in particular, or if it's off their website or somewhere. So I've been looking for like free image stocks, but most of them, to get it free, has a watermark on it. So it'll have it sort of, And that's not a huge problem, but it does just kind of look kind of off. And I'm not paying for any images. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to subscribe to it or anything like that, because I don't want to spend that kind of money on it. But I know you can apparently get some images for free. Canva. I went through Canva and found a few of them, and I also found some through OAI, I think it's called. Something art. It's not that AI. It's let me see if I can find it. You can still see me. You should be all right. But if any of you know OAI art, Open Archives Initiative, is that it? No. Open Art Images. OpenArtImages.com if you're interested. Now, again, you get a small version for free. The big one you got to pay for. There is kind of ways of getting the larger one. I think you can share the link, I think, with yourself, I think. But even then it starts to make me question. So anyways, that was one of the, between Canva and OAI, those were the two big ones that I started getting images from. But if you guys out there in question land have any idea where to get images like that you can use that are royalty free, or that you can use for something like that, please let me know. I'd be very interested to know that. So yeah. So see, was that everything? I think that might have been it. I took a break and all, but I could go back to drawing again for a little bit. Whoops, just need to bring some out. So I need to clear that. Open up Facebook, my mistake here, but there's some information that I got to get off of there. Did anyone, did you guys just randomly see the video come up today, or am I, how you found it? Because I did put a post on the Instagrams, and I don't know if, friend down there, no, nobody else has seen it. Okay, never mind. I did put up, like on the stories, I put it up there that I was doing that. I'm going to probably take it down a little bit then, since nobody's seen it, except one person. But, all right. So you subscribed and saw the notification. Okay, all right. I don't know if you have the little bell clicked or whatever. That'd be really nice if somebody actually has that. So whenever I go live, notification for it. That's because I know I do that for a few channels, but it's kind of nice to think that somebody has that set on mine. So that's good to know then. All right. So let me see here if I can open this up again. I have an iPad. It's the Air 5. It came out April 2 years ago. And I wish I needed to upgrade. I couldn't use I had the regular iPad 7 before that, and I did need to upgrade. I should have maybe held on to it a bit longer, because now they have like the 13-inch ones, and I'd rather have like the 13-inch. So that's Apple AirTag. I need to get some of those. You can see me moving around my whole 10 feet around my flat. Where did my, oh, there it goes. I was going to say, where did my notes go? I forgot. One of the things I actually have to, this sounds morbid, one of the things I actually have to do is finish my will. I kind of want that set. Only because if something happens to me, I have items that I want to go to specific people, and I don't want them to just randomly go to like Value Village or something like that. So I do want, I need to get that finished, because I need to get that sorted out. Jim says, "Oh, get a new iPad. Oh, nice. Air versus Pro thoughts. So if you're just animating, I think as long as you have enough storage, the Air is plenty. I don't think the Pro features are worth, unless you think you're going to be doing a lot of layers. I don't think. I think the Air is going to be plenty. I don't know, on Dreams. Yeah, I've opened it up again and I'm playing around with it. There's going to be some major updates to both Procreate and Procreate Dreams. I'm looking forward to seeing the updates on those. But yeah, I unless you have like the money to throw around and you want the Pro and you kind of have that money to burn. But if you're looking to try and keep a little bit lower in the budget, Air is going to be more than enough, I think. I think that's especially if it's mostly for drawing and animating and just surfing the web and emails, and there's not like major productivity that you're doing. Even then, the Air handles that really well. I think it has extra speakers. Like if sound's a big deal, I know has extra speakers. I think the camera is a little higher quality. That's kind of what I can think of. I think they both use the Pro Pencil. I'd have to double check that. The Apple Pencil Pro, I think, is you can use on both of those. I'm pretty sure. Okay. But for drawing, either way, I do recommend getting the 13-inch, whichever one you go with. And there's both the Air and the Pro have a 13-inch model, and I would definitely go with a 13-inch screen for that extra little bit of real estate. No, my Air. It was only the old iPads that had the version where you put the pen in the bottom. This one, my old one did that. This one, you can magnetically just attach to the side, and the case itself has a little slot for the pencil, which is right next to it, and it's close enough. You can see in the photo I took when I was there. Yes, that's what my screensaver. I'm obsessed, I know. You can see it's actually it charges it right next to it by putting it right on the side. It'll charge it just by magnetically attaching it. So it always keeps it charged. It will never not have a charge unless I happen to be drawing with it for a long, long time one night. But even then, it takes a long time for that thing to wear out its charge. It's the new one now, though, has something with the hover feature, so you can hover above it and it'll show you where it's going to go before you put it down. So that's the new Pencil Pro has that feature, and I think it has a haptic feedback, so it'll vibrate or something. I don't know. Has a rolling feature on it, I think. So if you turn it, so if you have like a wide brush and you turn it, it'll actually move with it. I think that's another thing, which I thought the regular one does that. Maybe not. But actually, let me test that out and I'll have a look. I have to see too about plugging the iPad into this, because I know it'll do it. It's done it before, and I need to see if I can figure that out. I'm pretty sure it'll do that. We should try that. I'll wait in a little bit. I'll see. I need like a long flat brush. Well, this one, it depends on the brush. This one's designed to do it. Maybe not. I know those other two for sure are the the two big things, having like the haptic feedback and then having the hover feature are the two big things with the Pro brush. But yeah, so this one, no, does not do it. So it might depend on the brush itself. Okay. I didn't know if I was actually going to share any images as well. I've been taking my camera out a couple of times. We're supposed to. It's the one nice thing when the weather is nice and it's not too hot. Is I like to try and get out and take some pictures with the camera, and I haven't been able to actually get out and do as much with it as I'd like. Took a few pictures, but it wasn't anything to particular to write home about. So I thought, let me see the info. Do I have them here? No, I don't think I uploaded them. No, I haven't uploaded them onto the computer yet. Onto the computer. No. The ones that I've got here on the computer are the ones I took with the iPhone. Yeah, those are just boring. I did do a new like little fish drawing, but it's gone. Why is it not here? Maybe because I hadn't quite finished it, but I was working on something on the iPad. I do have a couple little commissions coming up, which is nice. I don't usually share too much detail about commissions because they are kind of private jobs, but I do have a couple coming up. Nothing really big. Over 10 years. He's somebody from Ohio who's like a fitness and health person on Instagram. And every once in a while, he asks me to do like some little cartoons of him for something he wants on Instagram. So that's that is something I'll be working on. And let me see if I can bring this up again. I kind of want to just stay on here and keep doing this, but I've sort of covered everything I wanted to talk about. And I know I'm just trying to think of anything else I can I can chat about. But if anybody has any other questions, somebody's dinging me. She asked me. She always says need a link. So I have a friend of mine. When I put this notification up on Instagram, it also goes through onto Facebook, onto stories. And she always says, need a link. And I keep telling her, just subscribe to my channel and click the bell. Find it. That's why I put Phil Chandler Arts. Just subscribe to me and click the bell. Click the bell notification. And click the like button while you're at it. But yeah, that's what was going to make me laugh. I'm going to tell her again. It's why I put Phil Chandler Arts. I says it's not the link. It's a bit of an issue on there, and they don't like it when you link to when you link to like something outside another social media, outside Instagram, whatever one you're on. They don't like that. So yeah. Let me see here. I used to do these little profiles back when I started doing caricatures. We would have to do profile. Our caricatures have to be profiles. So we would do things like this. So they're nice and fast, right? So I would do like really, really quick things like this. And people, you know, they were $5. They were $5 caricatures when we did them. But they were easy to do. But the funny thing was, the woman that ran it, what I thought was really odd is that she would be the only one who would do face on, because she says, oh, I'm the only one that can do them fast enough. Now, I was fairly new to doing caricatures that year, but I thought that was kind of a forward thing to say, considering that the other two caricature artists that she had working there, one of the guy had been doing it for over 10 years, was more than capable of doing front-face caricatures just as fast, and the other guy had been doing it 20, and he is his name is Tim Hough, Haugh. Very good. You can find him on Instagram. He's really, really good. He didn't have no trouble banging out a front-face caricature. But I think that was just sort of a little obsessive control thing. Because it was her company. She had to be the best, right? So she didn't like anyone else kind of upstaging her. But this fella, Tim, he was good. Listen, if I'm a caricature artist and I'm starting a caricature business where I'm going to open up in a theme park and I'm going to have hire a bunch of artists, caricature artists, and I'm going to be drawing with them. And we're going to be all throughout the park. I want good caricature artists. Like, I want people talking about this. I would love the fact if you're 10 times better than me, because I want people actually talking about this and coming back and getting more done, right? So, yeah. So, it's funny you mentioned that, Jim. You'd be in trouble because so would I. That fellow I mentioned, Jim Hough, he'd been doing it for 20 years, and he kind of did it just for the money, but you could tell his heart was not in it. Because kids, they don't sit still and they're not thrilled about getting it done. They're at a theme park and they want to run and they want to do things. This is their mom who's grabbing them by the arm, shoving them into the chair, saying, sit still. The guy's going to draw you. She's like, just draw my kid. So the kid's just sitting there like, right? And when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, the kid's not happy and this is a keepsake. They're going to be buying this. So I try to fake a smile on it, get the hair right, get the eyes. They're just kids. The features are all kind of mostly relatively the same, you know, depending on the size, if they're chubby or thin or whatever. Most of them, it's easy to do it when it's kids. But if they're just sitting there miserable, I try to make them smiling and chasing a soccer ball or something, right, that has a face on it, make it cute for the mother. But Tim, whatever expression they had was what he would put on the paper. So I had a woman even come up. She says, I just got a caricature done by us. Is this normal? And she opens it. The kid was like in the picture, and it's doing like on a stage. And I guess she does ballet or something. I guess it has her on a stage doing ballet with the arms up and the tutu. And the face on it was just like, like, I told her, that's Tim. I know he's been doing it for a long time and he really is good. But if they're not smiling, he won't draw them smiling. He will draw whatever expression is on their face at that moment. So it's up to you. If you like, you don't have to keep them. If you want to give it back, get your money back, we'll do that. It's only $5. And we did like dozens a day. So, yeah, there's another fella too, who's a really, really good caricature artist, Isaac Klunk, and he's from the US. I really like him. His line work is phenomenal, and the way he does caricatures is so unique. It's so different. But the way he does them, I am surprised he hasn't gotten in trouble. If you look online for somebody named Isaac Klunk, exactly, it's Klunk. That is, let me see if I can. If you can Google it, you'll find it. I think I'm still friends with him on Facebook. He goes under a different last name on Facebook, though. If you look, Isaac Klunk caricatures, he's very good. Some of his stuff's more exaggerated, some of it's a little more refined. But if you look especially at his kid caricatures, his stuff in the park, man, he's got like really super exaggerated stuff. And if like a kid's overweight or has like a funny grin. As I said, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten parents angry at because I would be. Oh, but he's so good. His stuff is so good. One of the things he does is he puts these big black areas in the background. He'll put like a big square or something or a shape in the background and fill it all in black so that the characters stand out. I always thought it was an odd thing because it's a lot of ink. I thought, wow, he's got to go through like his markers so fast just to do that because there is so much black that he fills in it and then time to do that. But he puts them in though. He puts them in like that. I'll let you Google it. I would bring something up, but I don't feel like I probably shouldn't do that to bring up his work. But incredibly talented man. He's a I think he's a freelance. I don't think he works for a company. I think he's a freelance illustrator, but he keeps very busy because his stuff is so phenomenal. But yeah, Isaac Klunk with a K. But again, his stuff, man, like I said, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten in trouble for some of the things he does. I think that's part of being a caricature artist, is that you've got to find that fine line where you can push it far enough that you can make people laugh, but not go over the edge and where you get people upset at you. Obviously, you're in a public park. You can't do anything that's not, but you have to keep the stuff clean, keep it doable, but exaggerated enough that it will make them laugh. You always get the same comments from people, don't make my nose big, and they have like that's the most prominent thing on their face, and you're like, don't, it's not going to look like you. That's part of what makes you you. So yeah, it's how you tell people, if you get a caricature done, be aware of what you already look like and know that if you have big ears, a big nose, a wide mouth, if you're self-conscious about that, I wouldn't get a caricature done. Like that's just, but how do you tell people that, right? And that's the tricky part. That is the tricky part. A lot of times when people say, I'd be in so much trouble if I did caricatures, and I'm thinking you're probably the perfect candidate to do them. But kids, though, kids were like so easy to do because they were just. I had this system. Whoops! I had this system that I would follow, and I'm kind of. And this is kind of it here when I'm doing. So I do something like this so that it's really easy. And most kids, the neck's a little bit off, but that's fine. But you'd have this format that you follow. Even some of the people kind of said that. Whoops, I'm running a little low to the bottom here. I screwed it up. It says, they're all kind of looking alike. And I realized that after the end of the day, by the end of it, I'm kind of following this format as being to make all the kids look alike. And I thought, I got to kind of be careful what I'm doing here now, because now they're all... It's kind of terrible. 1 second. I'm pushing really low to the bottom of this. Normally the sheet's the other way around. This would be like on an 8x10. But I actually had to, when I went home at night, when I first started, I was off to like a horrible start when I did caricatures. And when I went home at night, I had to figure out different sports, because you'd have one kid, most of them played soccer. Most of the kids would come up and go, my kid plays soccer. So soccer was easy, right? Like it would be this kind of thing just over and over again. So chasing the ball, and I have a couple of different versions of this. One where he's already kicked it and it's making a face as he's flying through the air, but and then you put their names somewhere in the image, right? That it would like that, so that and the parents would take it home and get it laminated, right? This is like a really, really quick, crude one, but that's kind of the idea. And it was right straight ink to paper. But I would have this format down that I would that I'd follow for everyone. There'd be ones for girls, and I started to learn. So I learned all the sports. They played football, if they played soccer, if they played baseball, bowling, instruments. I play and they play. So I tried to learn different instruments, like the flute, clarinet, saxophone, piano, a lot of them. Dancing, ballet, that was kind of a fun one because you do this silly tutu on them as they would jump through the air on a stage or something, right? And you'd have these, and I have to do about for each one, I'd have about 2 or 3 different variants. So this is soccer. This would be a quick and easy one for soccer. He's chasing the ball, and I'd have another variation where he's already kicked the ball and it's flying through the air. For dancing, I'd have one where they're on a page, on a stage, rather. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm getting tired. One would be on a stage. Another one would be dancing in a room with some notes that all had little faces on it dancing around. Same with piano. Piano, you could have a piano and then a bunch of notes. And maybe if they have a dog, since you have a pet, you could put a little dog or something at the bottom. They'll tell you about their pet, what kind of dog they are. They love to tell you if they have a dog or a cat. Oh, I've got this. So you throw that in the image, and they love that if they're dogs in it. So but yeah, you'd have variants on all of those, so that if you had like 3 kids in a row and they all play soccer, so each one is kind of slightly different. All right, let's see, file new. But I got to a point I had to stop doing it. Doing festivals, they always charge too much money for the spot. And they had all these, you had to be insured, and you had to have this, and you had to have your sales slips, and you had to have your, sorry, not your sales slips, but your vendor slips, and you had to get a license for this. And they required all this stuff then. That was a pain. So then you tried on your own just to do birthday parties and whatnot. Well, I don't drive, unfortunately. So I had to pack everything up somehow in something carryable and take it across the city. Here I am. I remember the time I was living in Mississauga. One of the first little while I was living in London, Ontario, by the way, which is kind of smack dab in the middle of southern Ontario, in that little V-shaped dip that goes down into right, pokes down into the U.S. I'm kind of right in the middle of that, but we're surrounded by farm property, all these little tiny towns way outside. So London is kind of a pretty big city. It's about 400,000, and I always kind of put in my ads, please be inside the city so I can get it on a bus route. I always get requests for people outside, like they would never read it. I live on this farm property way out over here in Arva, and I'm like, I can't get there. I have to decline it over and over, or it's somewhere like on the very outskirts of the city, just outside the line, and the bus route never doesn't go near there. It require like a 20-minute walk with all this stuff. So I ended up spending like extra money on Uber, and I started putting the ads. If you're outside it, I have to charge extra for Uber, and they didn't like that. So I got to the point where I just, some of them I went to, some birthday parties I went to where the kids were just, oi. Yeah, you can imagine. So it got to a point where I'm not doing these anymore. Occasionally I'll do like a little commission job if it's somebody's birthday. It's like, or so-and-so's retirement party, and they want a big, goofy, funny caricature. But even that was kind of hard to do because people still were kind of really fussy. I did one for one woman, and they said that I made her look too mean. And she had this big smile on her face, but she had very, very sharp features. She had kind of a pointy nose, and she had narrow eyes. She had very pointy mouth. She just very, very pointy features, and you couldn't really get around that. And she had very, very sharp jawline. She was an older one, but she was. I tried to still make the image nice, but she thought I made her look like a witch. Like, so she wanted to know if I could redo it. And she says, well, just don't make it funny. Don't make it a caricature. I'm like, I don't do literal portraits. And after that, I went, I'm not doing this anymore. Not doing this. That's it. And so I ended up stopping. So you got to have patience for that kind of thing. And if you don't, I reached a point where it's like, I'll just do my own thing. But anyway, so there's my very long caricature story. What time do I got here? I sort of wish I could, wish I had something more I could. That's been kind of it. Like I said, I was sick all last week, and I was not. I get hit with the flu, and I am out. I am done. Let's see if I can bring up pencils. You know, when I was young, if I got sick, a couple of days be off, you'd go through it and then your body would heal. But now it moves. It starts with like a headache and you get the sniffles and it goes into a chest cough. I never get sick. I never get, sick to my stomach. I would never throw up anything. I would never do that. Never, for some reason, I always had an appetite through it. But as for, but everything else, I just feel so often. It's unusual for me to be sick in the summer like this. Usually it hits in the fall or the winter. So I try to take vitamin D. I was out of vitamin C, which is sort of which normally I usually try to keep something like that on hand, but I don't usually get sick this time of year. I was watching these old Warner Brothers cartoons, and I had one there where Porky Pig, and he got really angry, just psychotically angry. And it's interesting, one of the things they did is they added this extra black around out here. It was almost like the eyelids were pulling back away. He was so mad, the eyes were, and it made them like particularly really, really dark out here. Because I thought they look psychotic, and I thought, and it used to scare me as a kid when they got like that. And I was wondering, like, what is it about it? And I realized now it was like the eyes. They got them like this almost, right? That they would just. Different expressions you can do. Drawing eyes is kind of fun when you've got something like this, just to get all these different expressions. And I've got 3 people still watching now. I don't know, unless anyone else pops in, I may just end up calling it for the night. I should do this more often. I'm going to try and work on some things this week and get some things going for this channel, so I don't get all my all the goodies taken away from me by YouTube, because they seem to like doing that. So I am going to close this down. Unless anybody else has any other questions, anything else they'd like to jump in with. I've been on for almost 2 hours, I guess. Well, no, a little over an hour and a half. Eventually, though, I have to get to a point where I have to start planning the streams out a little bit better so that I can I can do something for a while. I can actually work on a project for a while. So I've had some ideas that I am going to do. I want to do a couple of layouts, but I need to plan those in advance. I want to see if I can take a layout from an animated show and how I would do it if I was still doing layout and how I would go about doing that. Yeah, that's about it for tonight, I think. I'll see too if I can get the iPad hooked up and use the iPad. Everybody's really quiet, so I guess that's my cue to finish up. It is after midnight here. It's officially Thursday, and I think that's everything. So I think I'll call it a night. But Jim, Paul, Terry, I don't know. Some people said hello, but Jim, you're the one that's kind of chimed in the most. But thank you guys for watching. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will be doing more of these in the near future. So have yourselves a great night, Jim. Looking forward to hearing more from you. Same with you, Paul. And we'll let's see, where's the close off? We'll talk to you all again in the very near future. Bye for now.